We are proud to introduce you to Hemet Valley Recovery Center and Sage Retreat's new exclusive Heroes program, which focuses on the care and restoration of those we count on every day for our safety, security, and way of life. The heroes of our community and society are the military, law enforcement, and firefighters, who often put themselves in harm's way for the protection of our families and ourselves. These professionals are universally respected, but most are held to a higher standard of behavior and internal fortitude. Being emotionally contained and controlled in the face of threat and risk is important to succeed as a first responder. However, it can often lead to unhealthy ways of releasing the stress and energy created in the face of danger. Police officers have one of the highest suicide rates in the nation, possibly the highest. They have a high divorce rate, about second in the nation, and they have alcoholism rates that are twice that of the general public. The Department of Defense estimates that 21% of service members of all ages are problem drinkers or meet the definition of being alcoholic. Statistics for firefighters are similarly disturbing. The common thread that connects these first responders is the repeated exposure to stress, grief, and loss. One firefighter describes it as the ghost that chases us. It could be that one accident where a young child is killed, it could be a fire, or it could be an accumulation of events. Research indicates that 30% of individuals returning from combat experience post-traumatic stress disorder. Symptoms can take the form of nightmares and flashbacks, insomnia, anger, hypersensitivity to normal life experiences, and avoiding anything that could trigger a memory of a traumatic event. Often, drugs or alcohol is used to self-medicate, thus making the situation worse. Consequently, what was sought to bring solace eventually becomes a personal war. Fortunately, the Heroes program at Hemet Valley Recovery Center and Sage Retreat will uniquely address the special needs of our first responders. The center will proudly take the lead in the treatment of our military, police, and fire professionals in a setting that will promote and foster wellness and recovery.
My name is Dr. Todd Langus, and I'm in private practice in Orange County. And our practice treats public safety personnel, police, fire, military for post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, substance issues. Our practice has been in for the last 30 years. I've been doing this for the past 7 years, and what's kind of unique is prior to the psychology field and dealing with trauma and post-traumatic stress, I was actually a law enforcement officer for 19 years. And because of that is what led me to get involved with psychology and treating the population that I treated, because there is such a need for it. That's from working in the field, we weren't getting the help that we needed with the things that we were seeing. And when we did get the help, the clinicians that were out there to help us, not that there's not good ones to do it, but there's not that many that treat this population and understand this population. So that's why I gravitated towards this area, is to get into this and be able to help those with the issues that I saw every day in law enforcement, as well as the things that I went through.
Okinawa, Japan, serving with the Marines. I was with the 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, and we were known affectionately as the Magnificent Bastards. And back then, not that people were forced to drink in the military, but it was sort of an accepted thing that you participated in. Well, during these early years in my time in the Navy, although I drank and probably drank more than I should have drank, I don't think I drank alcoholically. You know, maybe there would be some binge drinking now and then, but it wasn't a constant type of thing. And so I was a very functional, now what I would say, a very functional alcoholic. To go over to this combat zone, there was a lot of stress, there was a lot of tension. Those people who were married, there was a huge amount of stress in my own family, knowing that I was going to go, not knowing how long, and not knowing whether or not I was going to come back alive. The stress, the tensions, of course, I can only speak for myself, but I know from experience other people, it led to increased use of alcohol, you know, just to sort of kind of calm your nerves. I mean, the classic reasons why you drink, you know, to relax, to reduce stress. And it drove some people to drugs.
That's the culture of public safety personnel. In all the cultures of public safety personnel. If I have to go and save people, and when I do, if I see horrible things, if I admit that it affected me, then it means I'm weak. It means I can't do my job anymore. It means that people are going to look down upon me. So I'll hide it instead of asking for help.
My name's Tori, and I work for a residential treatment facility, and I've been doing that for a year and 4 months. You see a lot of sad stuff out there. Pretty stressful. The stress, not only from the job, but from your home. When you have family that they worry about you. Every day when you leave the house, they don't know if you're going to come home, and you don't know if you're going to come home. And you're just on edge all the time. So it's pretty stressful. I think that the worst thing I saw out there was going to a traffic accident where a van had rolled over. And there was probably about 5 kids in the van. And when I remember getting there, and I just remember hearing people screaming. And I ended up going to the local hospital, and there was a baby. She was 2 years old. And I just remember the chaos walking into the hospital, and the nurses were crying, and they were working on her, doing CPR, trying to bring her back. And I can still picture her face, you know. She was a little blonde hair, blue eye. And I remember the nurses coming out, and they just looked at me and they just shook their head. And then they brought the father in who was driving the car, and he was pretty well gone under the influence. And I remember being really angry. I was probably full of rage. And that just it messed me up for a long time. But I never got an opportunity to talk to anybody about it. So it stayed with me. I mean, it's still with me. I still remember how it felt. And that was a common occurrence. See people involved in accidents. There's no way to process it. It's just a combination of the whole job. I don't believe police officers get an opportunity to process things. They're seen as tough, and we can handle everything, and you know, your home life is supposed to be perfect, you know, and it's not really like that. And I think that substance abuse runs rampant because there's no other way to deal with the feelings. Of course, you can't deal with them. You have to push them down because you have to go back to work the next day.
In the countless officers, firefighters, military personnel that I've had the pleasure to treat, and I say pleasure because I've sat across the room from true heroes, heroes that have gone through horrific events in their lives. I can think of one particular incident we all can think of, 9/11. I was at ground zero within 24 hours of the towers going down. I was called back there to treat our heroes that were on top of those piles, searching for people, refusing to give up, risking their lives. And I was at ground zero, and in looking around, watching men work and women work with tears in their eyes, crying. I talked to a fire captain that lost his whole battalion. Everybody was gone. And when he lost them, the thing that stuck in his mind that haunts him today is, I gave the order for those men to go inside that tower. How can I live with myself? Because I gave the order to go in and the towers came down. That's what he lives with every day. How do you help these people? He wanted so desperately to get that vision out of his mind. He wanted to justify his actions. Think for a moment, if you will, can you imagine for a moment that when you pick up that phone, the comfort you have that if somebody's trying to break into my house, that I dial 911 and these heroes are going to come? Can you imagine for a moment if you didn't have that? There was no phone number to call, no emergency number to get an emergency response to help you and save you. Can you imagine what that would be like? Our heroes right now don't have that. They see the things that they see. They deal with the things. They're willing to risk their lives and give that up every day, not to see their families ever again, to save people they don't know. And there's not much out there to help them deal with that. That is no different than you calling 911 and nobody coming to help you. Think of what that would be like, because that's what it's like for our heroes. We have a chance to give back to our heroes. We have a chance to save our heroes. That's what they're asking for. They're asking for this, and I've treated hundreds of police officers, firefighters, military personnel. And every time, it's the same thing. Doc, get me better so I can get back out there and help people. That's what they're saying. Not, I don't want to do this anymore. We have a chance to give back, and we have a chance to help our heroes get back on the streets, get back in the field of battle to protect us. Because they don't want to stop. And those are the people we need. And if we don't help them, we don't have them. And if we don't have them, we don't have that 911 life link to us. We have a chance to give back to our heroes in society. Can you imagine what would life be like if we didn't have heroes? We have a chance now to be that hero for them. And I would hope that our society is willing and wanting to give back, because we have that chance now.